Fellow talking to his mate, he said, I've had a lot of bad luck, he said, with marriage. He said, I wouldn't get married again. He said, what a bad luck. He said, why? He said, well, first wife died eating poison mushrooms. What about your second wife? He says, fractured skull. He said, how was that? He says, she wouldn't eat your mushrooms.
Well, I met one of these Aborigine fellas, you see, and he was carving all these bits of wood. I said, pardon me. I said, one of those statues you're carving. He says, one's an Englishman, one's a Scotsman, and one's a Welshman. I says, why didn't you carve an Irishman? He said, I couldn't get a piece of wood thick enough. Takes guts to tell that one.
I said to this fellow, why is your dog wearing brown boots? He said, its black ones are being mended.
You should emigrate. And the place to go to is Africa. It's empty.
Did you hear about the hippie? It was out of his mind on LSD, and he's on top of this block of flats saying, I'm a jumbo jet, I'm a jumbo jet, I'm a jumbo jet. And he dived off the top. And halfway down, two other hippies hijacked him and flew him to Cuba.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Comedians.
On site, Granada comes to Wythenshawe Estate, Manchester. Get the picture in the studio, Councillor Smith, Councillor Jones, Councillor Brown. Sat in champagne bucket chairs, smoking King Edward cigars, sipping Napoleon brandy, fitted carpet, the best of everything. Where's the punters on Wythenshawe in the pouring rain? Hey! Are you there, Ray Gosling? Yes, I'm here. And I'm very stood here, I'll tell you. Are we on the air yet? We're on now. Good evening. On site this week comes from Wythenshawe Estate, Manchester. And we have a Mr. Mitchell off the estate who has a complaint for Councillor Jones. Mr. Mitchell. Thanks very much, son. Thank you. Councillor Jones, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. It's about our route. Yes, we want one. £4.15 a week for these houses, councillors, a disgrace. We've got bugs. Well, pull your bed away from the wall. We've done that, they pull it back. I threw a bucket of petrol on them the other night to come out on motorbike. I'm sick of these houses, I'll tell you. The walls are that thin, I opened the oven door the other day, there's a fella dipping his bread in our gravy. And another thing, councillor, I think I'm the only one that works up here. There's some right layabouts live on this estate, I'll tell you. The fella next door to me, last job he had, school prefect. One of his insurance stamps is worth more than a penny black. He's been on the dole that long, he goes to the staff dances. Now listen, councillor, what are you going to do about that pond at the bottom of the garden there? What are you going to do about that pond? I've been complaining about 14 years about that pond. Now you're doing nothing about it. Well, Mr. Mitchell, can I... What are you going to do about that pond? Can I speak? What are you going to do? Well, Mr. Mitchell, if you don't let me speak, I won't be able to tell you. Now, just settle down, please. We know all about this pond. And we had a meeting only last week, the Town and Country Planning, about this pond, Mr. Mitchell. And we're going to send you 3 ducks. Family on this estate wouldn't pay any rent, so they sent the bailiff up with a blue paper, summons, under the door. They had a pair of bellows the other side, blew it back. So he shoved it under again, they blew it back again, it's gone on for about 4 hours. Texted the summons back to the town hall, he said, you get the rent? He said, no, and I wouldn't pay any rent for a drafty bloody house like that. 2 lunatics out fishing. Like Galilee all over again. The boat's full of fish. When they get back, he said, I hope you marked the water where the fishing was good. He says, yeah, I put X on the side of the boat. He says, you lunatic, we might not get that boat next time. Bernard Delfont passing this building site. A fella does 3 double somersaults, a jackknife, backflip, lands on his feet. He said, I'll book you for the London Palladium. Foreman said, you'll have to take Big Paddy with him. He says, why? He said, because he's the one that just hit him on the hands with a sledgehammer. Jaime Goldberg's on the beaches of Bournemouth with his little son, Morris. Morris says, Papa, can I have ice cream? He says, can you have ice cream? My wonderful son who I love and cherish. Here's a pound note, get yourself the biggest ice cream you ever seen in your life. 20 minutes later, comes back, he says, Papa, the man at the chef said they don't serve Jews with ice cream. He says, what? They don't serve Jews with ice cream? Come with me. Goes in the shop with a fella there in a dirty overall. He says, what's this, you? I'll stick it on your chin, you don't serve Jews with ice cream. He said, my gaffer says I don't serve them, I don't serve them. He says, who's your gaffer? He says, through there in the office. Goes in the office, little Jewish fella there. Yamluki on, little beard, eyes watering. Making the books out. Says, what's this, you? It's you. You don't serve Jews with ice cream. I'll stick it on your chin. He said, what you shouting about? Have you tasted the ice cream? Magician working the big liners, doing all his tricks, and a parrot on the side there keeps saying, it's up his sleeve, it's down his jumper, it's up his trousers leg. Where's the act? And the ship's boiler's blue. And him and the parrot's on this plank for 4 days. And the parrot's looking at him like that. After 4 days, the parrot said, okay, I give up. What have you done with the ship? Fellow walks in a hairdresser's, give us a Tony Curtis. Cut all his hair off just like an egg. He says, you Burke. You know who Tony Curtis is? He said, well, I should do. I saw the King and I 14 times. Mr. Kosygin's going round this big factory with Ted Heath. He said, what time they start work here? He said, well, they start about 8 o'clock, clocking on, he said. In Russia, they start at 6 o'clock in the morning. Any breaks? Oh, he said, they knock off about 10 o'clock, all this wagon comes up and cup of tea and that. In Russia, no breaks. How long for dinner? He said, well, you get an hour. He said, something like a bet. He said, they take an hour and a half. In Russia, 10 minutes for dinner. Sandwiches, Russian sandwiches by the machine. What time they finish? He said, oh, they're pumping the bites up at 4 o'clock, he said. Full of his children's hour, he said, on the television. In Russia, they work till 10 o'clock at night. 6 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night in Russia. He said, you couldn't get these lads to do that. He says, why not? He says, because they're all communists.